factors to consider. Business requirements, sounds like a BA job. Current technical environment, we have to know that because it will change depending on who you're going to use, who's going to use this, and plan strategic and technical directions. And do all that together. Jump in if you want to, Jim.
Okay. Back up on one there. Your current technical environment, come forward one. There's a lot of different types of technical environments that you get into. We mentioned a while ago the different type of BI tools that are available. The other is the type of storage. A lot of organizations are headed toward Oracle. Some are still staying with DB2 on mainframe. There's still some of us that love the DB2 on mainframe. There's the other that are pure data warehouse storages. Netezza is one. There's some others that are coming out that are strictly geared to support nothing but data warehousing. So you have to be able to know current and the technical environment and the capabilities that are out there, because that can have an impact not only from the standpoint of short-term, long-term costs that you're going to get in. So you got to start taking those type of things involved or into account.
All right, let's go through this. Now, what did we say ETL was? Anybody remember?
Transform.
Right. So that's how you get the data into the system, right? All right. Now this is the detailed design, and that's all the ways you do that, tools you use to do that. But we got to identify the key business processes, dimensionality, the mapping of these over time to be sure that there are no gaps in our information, and it can be it's usable information. This is used to identify the fact table and different things. So I'm going to go.
Let me touch one base because it's up there. Everybody's familiar with source to target maps. Okay, I'm coming from here going to there. Are you familiar with the other side? Target to source? It's just the opposite. Understand what you're doing in a data warehouse. I've got defined these entities that are going to be tables. And this is where I'm going to wind up. And let me tell you what Freddie Mac did, and I really liked it. We did the target to source. The target to source says, this is what I'm building, but where did this information come from? When you grab that, you're looking at a data warehouse and you're looking at a table, and you're trying to understand where did that information come from. You're not going back to the source and finding out where it went. This is where I'm at, so where did it come from? Which system? What table? What column? The target to source works very well for data warehousing, much better than source to target. If you're doing a legacy and you're upgrading it to a new application, source to target is good. The target to source is very important from the standpoint of this. What Freddie Mac did from that standpoint is they published these out on their intranet. If you're looking at a table, you could go and pull that table up, and they had what they call a BRS, which is a multitude of worksheets within a workbook, Excel workbook, and you could find everything that happened, where it came from, the transformation it went through, and the load process to get it into there. And it almost defines that table for you with a lot of metadata already incorporated into it, such that you're not trying to map this thing back through whatever it went through to get there. You know, here's where I wound up, and this is where it came from, and this is what it went through to get there. And the target to source is a very important part from a standpoint of what I have found in working with building data warehouses and data marts is much more effective than doing source to target.
Great. Jim, I think you need to come up here.
No, I'm fine here.
Yeah, you're fine. I want everybody to get the full view from up front. Because you have a lot of information, and they actually gave me the slides. All right, data model and ETL development. Structuring and arranging the data around the, what's this? The key preliminary indicators.
Key primary indicators.
Primary indicators. My tongue gets twisted around my eye tooth, and I can't see a word I'm saying sometimes. So now we have we're trying to arrange the data around the key indicators of the business, creating a dimension around the base of the drivers of the business. So what drives our business, and how are we going to make decisions based on that, and how are we going to get the data related to that related to the decisions. Do you want to add something to that?
You got it. That's fine.
And the later that talks more about how you're going to use it, how you're going to drill down into it, and maybe data mining would be a part of that, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. Let's see, user interface development. Now that kind of sounds like what we all know. How are we going to, how's the user going to interface with the actual work? So establishing an environment whereby the business user are not confronted with jargon, are not confronted with something they can't use. They're trying to make it user-friendly, right? And so, let's see, there's a long sentence there, but let's see if I can break it down. The business users are wanting to get this information in a usable way and use it over and over. This environment includes predefined prompt reports, which can be easily modified and changed in ad hoc way so the user can come up with decisions. Because what you're dealing with is there's going to be people out there that have to make decisions based on only things they know. And it's not something you can preconceive. You have to figure out how to make this information usable so that experts can make decisions you'll never think of based on data that you don't even know they need, right? But all this data exists. And what's the difference between statistics and business analysis, the business intelligence, is the statistics, if you have 3 or 4 variables, you're challenged. In business intelligence, you'll have 100 different variables. So which 5 are important? And so that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to come up with information that you don't know which 5 are important because it changes based on the question you ask.
Let me give you a quickie here, something that relates to all of us. This past few weeks, the government has been meeting with the agency heads and commissioners in regards to what's happening in the agency and asking them to cut 15% of their budget. Now, I was listening to the Department of Revenue Commissioner, Reagan Farr, and giving his report, and he talked about something that happens, the legislature put into effect. Are you familiar with the sales tax holiday? How many do we have a year? Okay. Which one's guaranteed? What? The fall. The spring is optional. Okay. My contention is, and I haven't gotten where I can pull the data in to prove it, but my contention is that it's almost a wash from this standpoint. That consumer buying prompted by the sales tax holiday creates more sales than normally would be there, and they're getting the same amount of tax dollars had it not been in place, even though they're giving those tax-free dollars back to the individual. So the essence of it is, if I can pull in, and it looks like, which is not going to be a good year to do it, in 2009, the springtime, there probably will not be a sales tax holiday. Possibly not. The legislature makes that decision. But I'm looking and been considering going back and pulling in the spring of 2006, because it started in the fall of 2006. Pulling that information in and compare it across to the last, for 2007, 2008, and see if there was a major difference in the actual taxes collected, and see what plays out, because that's important. It's great if it's a wash, because what happens? We get the break. The legislature is not really losing any money because it's causing us to spend a little bit more. We go buy a computer system and we think, well, we need a few more of this and a few more of that that's not tax deductible and so forth. Or we go in and buy clothes at a place and it may be a toy, and I think I've saved some bucks and I'm going to buy something for the kids, okay? And that type of thing. Those are the type of things that make decisions. That's what they need to know.